We're on the internets now. We're on the internets now.
We be on the interwebs.
We're on the interwebs. What time
Nice.
is it out there?
It is what the fuck time is it? It is 3:22. So we're what 2 hours behind you? You're central, right?
Yes, it's 5:22 here.
Yep. We're 2 hours behind you.
We yeah, it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. I always forget that everybody I know is in a different part of the world. And the other day, my friend's aunt is doing a loan for us. She lives in Phoenix, and I was calling her. It was like 9 o'clock in the morning here, but apparently it's like 6 o'clock in the morning there. But she was okay with it. She'd missed her alarm, so she was all right. But she's
Yeah,
loaning us. She's loaning us $400,000
oh
on a
wow,
mobile home park.
very nice.
So that's really really good and really interesting. It's
Are you still buying deep into the mobile home parks? I thought you were getting out of those. I thought you were going to do something else.
We are, but basically, she offered us some 8% money, interest only,
Oh
um,
wow.
an IRA, and rather than go before a bank with all of that, we just said, hey, if we can do this. We pulled 79,000 equity out of it. It hasn't closed yet, but it'll basically put 79,000 in the bank for us, and then it's on a 3-year balloon, so we're going to sell it on our finance for 650, wrap it, and the last time we offered it out on our finance, somebody had 125,000 down, so there's a real good chance that we put it out for 125 down and end up basically with 200,000 in the bank with what we got out of it from her. Do it on a wrap mortgage. It'll cash flow about $1,000 a month, and then they have to refi or we take it back. And
Beautiful.
just a little transaction, just that creative stuff that those wealth building principles that I don't really see enough people talk about. I'm like, man, if you understand this owner finance game, you can do so much stuff that other people can't. I mean, you can. We bought we bought that one that we met you on, Tyler. We bought it owner finance. Um, we bought another one owner finance that we're selling on the 23rd. So we're selling. We bought it owner finance. Now we're selling it owner finance. I've never bought a single family house owner finance, but I've bought one apartment complex, and then we had a seller carry on a second lien on our second apartment complex. So, I mean, owner finance is where it's at. Like, it's the game that more people need to understand more about.
I think it's too many moving parts for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, it is, and it's, I mean, I think that, but at the same time, I'm like, you got to learn something. So wholesaling to me is like mission impossible. We had a $10,000 wholesale deal. We're selling it for $10,000 fall through this week because people were going around like to the seller and she won't show up and sign because people are offering her more money.
And that's a fundamental problem with the wholesaling game, and you can't swing a dead cat without hitting somebody who is a wholesaler or they are an investor and they're paper pimp and stuff. We had one I think 2 or 3 weeks ago that we found, and real nice lady. She's owned the house forever. I think owed 25-30,000 on a house here in Napa, which is like nothing. It was a 400, mid 400s project house that would be mid 600s done. And, we put it out there and we couldn't get there. And, I had to go over there and back up on it. But what I did was I went over, I took our agent over there and put her on it. And she had the house sold in 24 hours,
Dude,
and it's just.
That's crazy though. That's crazy to me. I mean, that's a shit ton of equity. You know what I mean? Like that house here, for what she sold her house for, what'd she end up getting? Do you know?
I think she got 440, 450, something like that.
That's amazing. She could take the money that she made on there and buy a mobile home park in Texas or a small apartment complex. We're selling 16 units right now. Gross rent's $8,000 a month. for $350,000. You know, like,
Wow.
so she could take that money that she got, move into a place, you know, rent out 15 of them, and cash flow, you know, $4,000 a month, $5,000 a month, whatever it would be after she pays taxes, insurance, and that's it. You know what I mean? Live for free, and that could be a retirement. It's so those numbers that y'all see out there, and everybody sees. I mean, the Phoenix market, every market that other people are in, I just look at it and I'm like, man, that's insanity. Like, insanity. We bought a 32 unit apartment complex for $230,000. You know?
Damn. Yeah,
So,
those numbers are insanity to us. It's like, holy fuck.
yeah, well, that apartment complex though, we're gonna end up all in on it 900. I mean, we're gonna do a complete reno on it. We actually raised that money.
Was that the one you're goofing around with the other day? You're trying to get the one truck dealer out of it?
No, that's our third apartment project. So our second apartment project is, we've owned it for over a year. We hit every wall you could hit on it. What we didn't realize when we got into that deal, so we bought it for 230, which everybody knows that you can't buy 32 doors for 230. We bought it for 230. We figured when we got the first 8 units ready that people would just line up to move in. Well, if they move in, you get those 8 units rented, then you go do another construction draw and do another 8 units. The problem was, it's in a small town and perception is reality. You got to overcome their perception of what the property was when it was with the previous owner. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And you can't do that until you paint the outside. So we started on the inside, making them really nice on the inside, but you can't get anybody to come inside of it if you don't paint. Me and DJ painted the gate on that place to get the last units rented. Just painting the gate changed. We could actually get people through it then. After fighting with it, it was like, we're fighting this uphill battle. We kind of proved the concept of what the rent demand was by getting those first 6 or 7 units rented, but fighting the battle and then kind of looking at it and going, where do we go from here? What do we do next? You know what I mean? Like, how's this going to work out? And so anyways, long story short, instead of doing it one building at a time, in January, about mid-January, we've already got one building done, but we're going to do the outside first and foremost. I mean, we're going to roll 30 people in there and just put up fucking fences, paint the outside, redo it, hang signs, street lights, pavement, and just start knocking it in the head, and then go inside the buildings and start getting them ready. Well, we already have, of course, 8 units rented there, but we're not going to mess around with it because that lets the town know. It's kind of like your own personal billboard. Then everybody kind of sees the crane swinging. They, you know what I mean? They see the progress. Then it's not all hidden on the inside. But no, we kind of attacked that one backwards, and it's inexperience, not knowing. And then some things happened within the city structure. They moved people around. People quit. We had one plan in place with the previous code compliance guy. The new code compliance guy comes in, stops us in our tracks. So there's a ton of lessons that we've learned on this. But at the end of it, we'll have about a 1.6 property leveraged at 900,000. We've ran in some really good 30-year loan products for this. I mean, they cannot find enough properties to write these loans because they want to service rural America. Like like Freddie and Fannie, they made a product for rural America, and nobody takes advantage of it. So we've got that lender in place, and we just did a deal with a guy, and he had $900,000, did a bridge loan for us for 60 days. He picked up a $42,000 check, and he's like, all right, what y'all got next? And we're like, we got this big project, but it's going to be a longer term. It's going to be an 18-month term. And he's like, yep, I want it. Give it to me. And we're like, all right, cool. So that's really, really, really neat for me, at least. $900,000. That's 2 properties for y'all out there, but for me, that's like, it's a shitload of money. And to get it from a guy and have him give it right back to us, I'm like, man, this is going to work out really well.
That's beautiful. Yeah, we just bought a condo for $600 yesterday.
That's crazy to me.
Fucking condo, yeah.
Y'all Airbnb it. What do you get per night?
That thing, what's really okay, so here's the deal: is this thing was like 800 grand. It was on the market for 400 something days, like 800 grand. Mid 800s, 840, something like that. And watched it. And it came down like 650 like a month ago. We went and looked at it and like, hey, fuck, we paid 650 for our operations center. And I mean, we operate out of that fucking thing. This is like a 1,050 square foot 2-2 condo at the country club. It's like, I don't know. And I'm still kind of sour because we lost an opportunity on a big deal over in Sonoma. It was like we're going to buy it for $1.2 million and put probably about another $1.4 million in it. It was going to be worth $5 million when we're done. And we were in the middle of a refi and wanted to push it out, and we couldn't get it done. And I couldn't have it on the balance sheet during the refi, so we lost it. So I'm still kind of sour about that, and I compare everything that we do now to what the possibility was there, because when we would have got that thing run, it'd been making 40 grand a fucking month, and it would have been 5 doors at one location, which would have been beautiful for us. But so anyway, this condo came up, and I was like, nah, I don't know. And then it came down to like 585. And, Mike came, he was like, hey, the condo's for 585. We started running some numbers on it. It's like, yeah, that would kind of make sense. So put an offer in on it. Long story short, we get it to 600, and Mike gets a listing built on it. Like 48 hours ago, we got like $10,000 in bookings on it.
Dude, that's
48 hours. So Mike was goofing around with it. He thinks it'll make 8,500 to 10 grand a month, which, that's pretty good money for us. I mean, we have no R&M there. It's an association, so we've got no outside maintenance, which is good for us. We've got a big HOA fee, but we don't have to really do anything over there other than run it and clean it. We bought it furnished, so I mean, I was over there this morning with Mike. We were moving furniture around for the carpet cleaners to clean it up, and I went back up there a little bit ago and put fans in. I was actually editing a video when you reached out to me. I'm gonna probably post tomorrow on a walkthrough on it. But yeah, I mean, it's
that's just like, I'm sitting here like not running the numbers, but thinking about the numbers. But you said something in the previous sentence that is like, that's how you know from the do's from the don'ts. Okay, the cans from the can'ts. I'm trying to pull this up to send it to Spoon because he's gonna love this.
What are you sending to Spoon?
This link to this deal we're doing right now.
Oh, gotcha.
Trying to pull it up, but it won't. YouTube's being angry at me. But anyways, when you said you couldn't have those 5 doors, was it 5 doors on your balance sheet when you're in the middle of a refi?
Well, so the property we were going to buy it was $1.2 million, and it was a project. It was 3 doors on one property with a barn, and I think it was 4.5 or 5 acres in Sonoma County, and we were going to renovate the 3 doors. We wanted to build another house on it, put a communal pool in, every house have a hot tub. Then I wanted to do like this Airstream thing back in the corner, like this really cutesy Airstream that's kind of blocked off, and it's got its own hot tub. And then, Mike had this vision for putting a vineyard out in front. We were going to get one of the local farms, put the vineyard in, then we were going to profit share it. I mean, fuck, we had some great ideas for it. And then, like I said, we're in the middle of refi, and we couldn't get it. We couldn't have it on the balance sheet and be in a refi with the bank, because they're gonna be like, what the hell is this $1.2 million deal over here? And it's $1.2 million.
And that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. We just went through that. So we had this government loan lined up for our first apartment complex, and we did that bridge loan for $900,000. I mean, loan's going to go through. Trump comes out and says, yeah, we're going to privatize Freddie and Fannie. And our loan that was going through, all of a sudden, they're not so sure. And then boom, they pull that loan off underneath us. Well, if you've ever gone through that vetting process on a Freddie Fannie, I mean, they make you have 9 months of debt service liquid in the bank. I mean, it's a process. It's a huge process. Well, we go to our local community bank. We know them. We have a banking relationship with them. We put $300,000 into their bank. Like, hey, look, we're going to open up a bank account over here. We've been they were originally going to be the person to refi this apartment complex for us. And we were up against a wall because we had that $400,000 assignment fee that the wholesaler took as a note, which I think there was 275 or whatever it was left on that. I don't remember exactly, but it doesn't matter. That note was coming due, and we had to get that refi through. Otherwise, we were going to be in default on the wholesaler's note. So we take it to this bank, and we had borrowed the $900,000 to get the wholesaler out of the way, and we take it to the bank, and they start looking at our whole balance sheet, and they're like, "Yeah, I mean, this asset's good. You got a 1.7 appraisal. You're only borrowing $900,000 against it. That's good, but your cash flow position is pretty much neutral." And we're like, "Yeah, we're remodeling, apartments over here on this other side." And they're like, "Yeah, it's a problem." You know what I mean? And we're like, no, you're only loaning on these apartments right here. And they're cash flow cows. You know what I mean? Like, they're wonderful. They make $10,000 a month. And anyways, so they essentially basically told us that we had bought too much stuff. And when you're in a small community bank like that, you're thinking, well, I'm talking to a vice president. I'm talking to all the right people. That answer's final. So what we ended up doing was we presented it to another bank, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll do the loan," and got the guy's $900,000 back. But after that, we started taking a hard look at our balance sheet, and that's why we started getting rid of some of our mobile home parks, simply because if we get them off our balance sheet, get more capital in the bank, get more liquidity, we can get more lendable. It's really, really hard. And that's what people don't understand. If you don't have an outside business pumping capital into, or somebody with a W-2, you don't have some sort of something pumping capital into your machine, then taking on distressed properties that drag your whole balance sheet down, like taking on a big project that's going to drink capital for a couple of months. They don't care that you're spending $100,000 on capital improvements. That doesn't matter to them. You know what I mean? The bank ultimately don't care if that $100,000 went into a rehab. They just look at it and they say, "Oh, well, that month you were negative 30,000 on cash flow." I'm like, "Yeah, but not really." You know what I mean? We're not going to spend that 100,000 every single month. That's capital improvements. We're like, "Well, that doesn't. It is what it is." And we were like, "Yeah." So, anyways, we spent a lot of time cleaning up our balance sheet to get a government loan, to get a Freddie Fannie loan, to only realize that whenever you go to smaller lenders, that they don't, that we had it set up for smaller lenders and got it reversed around so we could get the Freddie loan. And when we got it over to the smaller lenders, they were like, "Yeah, doesn't look good like that." So, but I don't even know with the smaller lenders, we've got a LLC with Spoon, Big Spoon, that we're doing all of that through. We've got LLCs with all of, and they wanted everything. Where the government loan, they wanted the sponsors, that sponsor LLC. They wanted its tax return and its information. They didn't necessarily care about the rest of it. So it was a very, very, very trying last 2 months. I'm surprised I have any hair left. I fired off that mastermind, and then all this started happening. And I was like, "Well, fuck, if this loan don't go through, there's no need in having the mastermind." You know what I mean? Like what are we going to do? Talk about that time we crashed and burned? I mean, I guess everybody needs to hear that, but I was, just sitting there thinking, it's crazy to me that how, and it's a lot of uncertainty in the market. That's the other thing that people, they're talking about pending recessions, and then the impeachment and all the bullshit that's going on. The Fed's pumping liquidity in every single night. They're putting a few billion in, and local banks are like paying attention to that shit, where you see a lot of people that are acting like it just doesn't exist. And I'm like, go talk to a lender right now. You know what I mean? Go ask them some questions. Money is getting harder to get, like, not private capital. Private capital is
all fucking private capital is easy.
Yeah, but lending, like institutional lending, is becoming just a little bit more kind of like well, let's just pause and wait and see. So yeah, we're getting what we got right now stabilized, and then we're going to really take a look at it and decide, all right, which direction do we go next? Do we go, small apartments still? Um, do we want to do some things in mobile home? Do we just kind of let it rock along and until the election settles out and all the dust settles and figure out what's going to happen there? Like, how do you do it? Now we're still flipping single family homes. I mean, buying one for, you'll laugh at this, we're buying one for $7,000.
Oh, Jesus. What is it?
It's a mobile home on land.
Wow. Holy shit.
I mean,
what's it worth? I mean, tell me it's worth more than 7,000.
Under finance 40.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, it's just a little dink, dunk, easy money. Easy money.
Yeah, I mean, if you could, get a moderately good down payment on it and owner finance it and just let them ride until they don't have any money left and then fucking kick them out and redo it.
We don't even want to do that though.
No.
What we're going to do with that thing is we're going to sell it owner finance, then sell the note for $20,000. Just do that. I mean, we got another one we're buying for 11. It'll be the same transaction. But we'll take a little loan on it. We'll take a little $15,000 loan on it, sell it, wrap it, and then season it, sell the mortgage, rinse, repeat. We're doing that with people that have a Roth IRA. So, Roth post-tax.
Yep.
So we'll take the Roth IRA, we'll use it for the loan on it. And then when we sell it on our finance, we'll assign our note to them. And so their IRA then goes from, maybe they loan us $15,000 and then they get in return a $30,000 note in their Roth, right? So they turn around and sell that $30,000 note in a month. I mean, like literally it's a month transaction. They put it up for sale and they sell it for 21, 22. They just added $7,000 to their Roth post-tax. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if they've got a small IRA like that, that's how you get that thing up to where you can actually have something to lend. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, if you have somebody who's savvy, they can really build that thing up fast.
Yes.
If they're willing to take on a little bit of risk.
Well, and people approach us all the time with different amounts of money. We're just fortunate enough to have those small mobile home deals to be able to put that $15,000 to work. But I'll say this: the $15,000 lender is 100 times more worry wart than the $900,000 lender.
Well, that's why they only have 15,000, not 900. If they had 900, it'd be a different mindset.
This is true. This is true. I mean, it really comes down to percentage of net worth too. You know what I mean? It's like, what percentage is is going on here? So, what else you been up to though? I seen you on the news. How'd that go?
You saw me on the fucking news. Okay, so yeah, that house has actually been a pretty interesting house. That was the last house Michelle did when Michelle was still around. That was the last one she renovated. And we Mike and I talked about that thing. We're like, if we can't get X dollars for it, I forget what the number was. It's like, if we can't get X dollars for it, we're just gonna Airbnb this motherfucker. It's a 4-bed, 3-bath. It's on one of the nicest house. It's on one of the nicest streets down in Vallejo, and it didn't sell, and we made it a vacation rental. And one day somebody stole all the fucking appliances out of it. They checked out, and the housekeepers went down there and they said, "Hey, the TV's missing off the wall." And we're like, "Well, send us a picture. Look around, see what else might be missing." Then they go downstairs, and out here the washers and dryers are commonly in the garage. Like, yeah, the washer and dryer are gone. Like, oh fuck, okay, I'm coming down there. We got a problem. And before it was all said and done, it was a $6,000 claim with Airbnb, and we did some work on the renter, and she got picked up, I think, the next day on a probation violation. They had numerous previous reviews with Airbnb that were really fucking bad. Like shit was missing and they damaged the property. Well, we got down there and Becca found a bunch of fucking heroin needles and bloody rags and shit. And we submitted a claim to AirBNB and they were kind of dragging their feet. Well, then that Orinda shooting happened, which is here in Orinda, California, where a bunch of people were shot and killed at an AirBNB house party on Halloween night. And Halloween night, there was a fucking house party going on in that same house. So when we got all the shit stolen, we had to get out and get the whole house re-upped within like, I think 30 hours, because we had guests showing up in 30 hours. By the grace of God, we had an orphan night. So, you know, we got down there, got everyone we could down there and put the house back together, bought all the appliances. I mean, Corey, they stole the fucking coffee maker and the filters and the coffee and the ironing board and the real nice shark iron that I'd have taken that son of a bitch because I iron my own shirts. And I mean, they stole, if the fucking shit wasn't bolted down, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's one of them nutty houses where the garage is in like the bottom of it. It's on a slab. Doesn't have a foundation.
Yeah.
It's on a slab. So the garage is in one side, and then there's like a master bedroom here, and then there's a door that goes up. Well, this is that house we were having trouble with under construction where we were having some theft down there. So I put 2 Ring cameras up, and there was one on the west side of the house, and there's one on the east side of the house. And on the east side of the house is where the front door is. So you actually walk up to the house, go around, and then you go on the side of the house. That's where the front door is. So they knew there was 2 cameras in the house. So they were taking everything down the stairs and out the garage, and we didn't have a camera there at the time. So they just took everything down the stairs, fucked up the walls and everything. And the only reason they didn't take my fucking Bosch dishwasher and the refrigerator was because they couldn't get them down the steps. If that would have been a ranch house, I guarantee you they would have taken those things too.
That's
and I mean,
Did
you
get arrested?
Well, it's a city of Vallejo, and the city of Vallejo has a really bad problem with people dying in custody, like they get fucking killed. So they've got bigger fish to fry than chasing down a bunch of crackhead Airbnb renters that clean out some host's house. I mean, you know, they don't give a fuck. I mean, shit, I bet I had $10,000 of shit stolen out of that house when it was under construction. So, I mean, they've been to the house before. They knew the house well. But so the gal who, it was her account, we are almost positive she got picked up on a probation violation up here in Napa County like the next night. And you know, we just went out and just fucking bought everything. I mean, we didn't have time to fuck around and you know, try to figure out a whole lot of shit. It's like, this fucking house is earning money. We got to get it back online. So we just went out and started buying shit and put the house all back together. And that was the middle of October. And then within 2 weeks, the night of the Orinda shooting, there's a big fucking house party going on at our house, unbeknownst to us. And we have another house in Vallejo that we've had some issues with. And we put these, there's this company called Noise Aware. And they make these noise sensors, and they don't record. They just monitor sound. They have no ability to record anything, but they sit there and they monitor ambient sound. And they have an outside unit and inside unit. And I'd ordered one for the house, but they were back ordered. So if we would have had the Noise Aware sensors in the house, we would have known there was something going on that night, and I could have got on the cameras. Because by this time, I put another Ring camera up over the garage, so we're running 3. And you know, but I mean, I still don't know how the fuck we would have handled it, because you know, it's like, what am I going to do? Go down there and fucking kick 100 people out of the fucking house in California? You know, I don't have a fucking CCW out here. I can't take a fucking pistol with me. It's not like back home and carry a fucking gun around in your pickup truck. So I mean, even if we would have had it, I don't know how the fuck we would have even handled the situation. You know, because
I don't know what you would do either. I mean, what remedy do you have? I mean, it's like,
if I was 29 years old and still repossessing cars, I'd have gone down there and started a fucking fist fight. But I'm fucking 48 now. I can't do that shit. So you know, they didn't fuck up too much shit. I think that claim ended up being $2,800 or $2,900, and they paid us on that. So they ended up paying us $6,000, Mike had to put fucking Chesky and Airbnb on blast on Twitter. And I mean, you ought to see the fucking Twitter post he put out there. They were contacting him on his fucking cell phone that night. And he called me at like midnight that night that he put him on blast. He's like, hey, they are settling this claim, but we've got, by this time we had a second one going behind it, which was the party. And they paid that thing too. I mean, I did that. I did all those videos and shit down there. And then I put those in every Facebook group I was in. I had some gal that Saturday morning. I put that post up. That Saturday morning, a woman by the name of Michelle Russell contacted me. She's got a podcast out of Phoenix, and she wanted to do a podcast with me. And that ended up being like a 2-hour discussion. It was like a 3-part podcast. And then the next morning, this gal from was it ABC? One of the big three down in San Francisco contacted me, and she wanted to do a piece on it because this was following the Orinda shooting where they, it was an organized house party, and ours was an organized house party. So now everybody's like, well, are these organized house parties like a thing on the Airbnb platform and people are getting away with it? Well, fuck yes, it is.
The R2R Vegas Mastermind's organized house party.
Yeah.
Old real estate investors not doing much partying.
Yeah. I mean, Corey, they were bringing in the fucking sound system. And I mean, there's one point in time I was watching the video on the front door side of the house. And like every time somebody would open the door, it'd kick the camera on and then, it would start recording. But there's one point in time where you can hear the music through the door. And they open the door. It's like you're at a fucking Ja Rule concert or some shit. I'm like, holy fuck. My neighbor Wyatt is going to fucking kill me. And I talked to him and he's like, hey, I didn't know if I should call you. It's like, oh, fuck, are you shitting me? Yeah. But,
funny.
Yeah, I mean, that one ended up not being too bad, but I mean, it ended up on the news and it got a lot of attention. I mean, there was people all the way up in Seattle telling me they saw it on the news up there. So, yeah, that was pretty interesting, but it's one of those things that if you get into this space like we are at scale, the shit is going to happen. You cannot avoid it. It's just gonna happen. It's like owning
Airbnbs y'all got?
You what?
How many Airbnbs y'all got?
The condo that we just bought is number 5, and then we've got a bunch of shit under management too. We're getting really heavy into the management. It's nothing we've really talked about up until now because we're trying to do it quietly out here and sneak up on some other people, but everyone knows what the fuck we're up to now, so there's no point in being quiet about it.
How's that management work? You just draw a fee and make sure that
you essentially take a percentage on what the earn is. So I mean, it behooves us to get in there and make it earn more than they had it earning. I mean, it's not this. There's some folks that are doing this arbitrage where they'll go in and they'll rent a property and then they'll set it up and they'll furnish it and all this shit. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's a market there, but once you get into that deal, I mean, fuck, you already got a rent payment. Why not just buy that? Why not just buy the property and then be able to depreciate and have all the fucking expenses and build a portfolio and all the.
Can't you still depreciate your personal property though? I mean, I would think you could. I would think, but I don't, and I'm not sure. I mean, it would be interesting to know because you have to be able to write off that rent. It's a business expense.
Oh, fuck yeah, it's a business expense. But if you're going to be paying rent, because the argument is that, why not do arbitrage? Why would you buy over doing arbitrage? Because you can do arbitrage and not own the property. But, yeah, you can write the rent off. But if you can get into a property, if you're savvy enough in the real estate space, you can get into a property where you have equity in it and your fucking mortgage payment is relative to what a rent payment is, and you have equity in the property and sits there and appreciates, and you're in, we're in a regulated market here, so nobody can really rip the carpet out from underneath us. And if you're in a market like we are and you can sell that property based on the property value and what it earns, I mean, fuck, why not go that route? I mean, at least make your time worth something, because you're creating a job or you're creating an empire.
Well, I think it takes both. I think for the balance sheet conversation we were having earlier,
yep.
Rental arbitrage adds a ton of cash flow to you to get you lendable
Absolutely.
in the intern. You know what I mean? I think what you're doing is the goal, but if you're starting out, I mean, when I first heard about the Airbnb arbitrage, I'm not gonna lie. Like I was like, I should have done that. Like that should have been my shit. Like that, like I would love it. Like I mean, get some places that I love to go, that me and Emery love to go, and just rent some shit and go visit for free. You know what I mean? But run it like that. But you know, I got into it late or heard about it late in the game, and I'm in apartments, and they got all the attention, they got all the bandwidth, and vacation rentals. I mean, don't get me wrong, like right there with you. I'm like, somebody's going to buy me an asset next to a place where when I get ready to go fishing, I'm blocking off that week, and me and Emery are going fishing. You know what I mean? And we're going to have another place in the mountains. We're going to have another place in all these places that we like to go do stuff. But right now, until we get all these assets stabilized, we're not gonna get into that. But I love the Airbnb model in a great economy. In a down economy, I'm like, what's it going to look like? You know what I mean? And that's the only, I think that's what people always want to think about. You got to underwrite the downside. Y'all are in an area that I don't think it matters. You know what I mean?
We're a global tourism destination here, and in the last downturn, tourism wasn't really hurt too bad. And if you think through it logically, I mean, during bad times, people aren't going to go out and buy a second home. People have the means to buy a second home. Like, you know what? I'm going to wait, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on a bunch of fucking vacations. And then when our economy is doing bad, we've got a bunch of people coming in from outside the country. And, you know, this is a global tourism destination. That's one of the reasons why we do it here, and we're so heavily invested in it. I mean, if the economy goes to hell, you're going to have a bunch of outside money coming in. So the money's still going to come in.
Well, that's the thing that, like, I look at all different investment strategies. One of the more interesting ones that people love is self-storage.
Yep.
So, like, self-storage, everybody right now wants to get into self-storage. It's $20 a foot to build. It's $1 a foot to rent. That tells me that there's going to be a ton of money moving into it. Okay. If it gets overbuilt, it might not be overbuilt in a great economy, but in a down economy, like right now, I've got 2 storage units. In a down economy, I'm not going to be paying $150 a month for those storage units. I'm going to sell that shit and get rid of it. But also in a down economy, I might have to move out of my house and move in with my dad, and might have to store a whole house worth of stuff. So there's 2 sides of that coin to think about, and I don't know which one's going to be right.
Well, I don't know that there's a right answer and a wrong answer. I mean, it's you know, I see these people get on Facebook and, you know, in this short-term rental space, and they start arguing about how they're right about something. It's like, well, you know, there is no real right answer in any of this shit we do. What works for me may not work for you. So what's right for me may not be right for you. You know, it's just.
Well, I think
there.
Like, to me, your biggest worry, at least in short-term rentals, is what's happening in Waco. You know, Waco got blown up by Chip and Joanne. It was such a cheap market to buy stuff. Boom. Let's make everything an Airbnb. Well, the city came in and said, nope, we're not playing that. And they put in a bunch of regulations that basically, if your property touches another property that's being an Airbnb, you can't Airbnb it. So you can live in it and Airbnb it, but you cannot just go buy Airbnbs in Waco. And I think it's the dumbest rule ever. Like, Chip and Joanne,
well,
never happened to this town. The people who've stayed, you know, waited this shithole out now can finally make money with their house. And, you know, Big Brother's going to come in and tell you can't because your neighbor thought of it first. Y'all are ignorant.
Well, you know, for the short-term rental space, I mean, regulations really are our friend. I mean, that's what I mean, for us, that's what ensures we even have anything. I mean, if we were in a position where the city or the county could come and pull the thing at any time, you know, we probably wouldn't be doing it because it would be 100% risk. You know, and
they can't do that out there.
Ooh, fuck, no. Actually, Mike said they tried to do it like a couple years before I moved here, and there was an attorney that owned 2 of them, and he sued the shit out of the city and scared the fuck out of them. Like, yeah, we're done with this deal. It's just going to be they're grandfathered in, and we're not issuing any new whole house non-hosted permits. And we have 3 of those, and there's I think 50, 40, 48, 49, or 50. We've got 3 of them. So, and they're just not issuing new permits. Now, in the last couple of years, if one goes away, like a house gets foreclosed and there's a permit, which I don't know why the hell anybody let that happen, but let's say it happens. It happened, you know, in the downturn. I think there used to be 100-something units, and a bunch of licenses got lost to foreclosures. So they've been doing a lottery, I think, once a year, and they do like 1 a year. And if one gets lost or whatever, they'll do 1 a year, and there's a 30 property wait list, and you know, they'll pull somebody's name out of the hat and they get it, and the last one that got it was some city employee.
That's awesome. Might have been
well, yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why the hell a city employee should really be allowed to be putting their name in the hat, but whatever. I think it's a coincidence.
So do y'all do it in the outlying areas?
So we've got 2 down in the city of Vallejo too. The city of Vallejo is they went bankrupt in 96 or 97. They used to have it was the first West Coast naval base. It was Mare Island, and it's where they used to build and refit all of the nuclear submarines. And Clinton decommissioned the base, so like 96 would jive time-wise. I think it was 96. But when the base got decommissioned, the city went bankrupt because it was so reliant on that naval base. And they've been trying to get their shit together since 96. And there's parts of Vallejo that are really, really rough. I mean, I like Vallejo. I think it's a cool town. We've got one house down there that's like looks over the river, and then so the Napa River comes down between the city of Vallejo and Mare Island, then it goes out to San Pablo Bay. So it looks out over the Napa River, then you see Mare Island, which I think Mare Island's cool as hell. I mean, when it's clear out, it's beautiful. So we've got one house that looks out over Mare Island, and then the other one that is having all the parties is on a really, really it's on one of the nicest streets in Vallejo, and we're still having trouble with it. But we've got 2 down there for right now.
Dude, that's awesome. So
and we actually talked to them before we bought the first one and asked them what their position was on it. They said, well, we don't have any regulation for it or against it, but we do intend to write regulation for it. And what's going to happen is somebody's going to report you. We're going to put your name on a list. And then when we go to license the properties, we're just going to contact you and see about getting some money from you, which we have no problem with it. We'd love to be regulated because it adds value to our portfolio.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I same way with mobile home parks. I mean, we're not in the mobile home park space exclusively anymore, but the reason why they got so much value is because they're so hated and they won't let you build anymore. So if you got one, you got it. You got the only mobile home park that's going to be in existence until the day, because they did protect them. The state of Texas protected them. They made them a protected class. The city can't tell you got to destroy it as long as it stays occupied. So yeah, it works out pretty well, but they do gouge you for some fees every once in a while. You know what I mean? They didn't say what the fees could and couldn't be. There's a couple of cities that they got fees, but they don't charge them to you. It's like we go down and we're trying to get permits to move more new mobile homes in. They're like, yeah, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And you look at the application, they're like, is your mobile home park fee up to date? And it's like, we ain't paid no fees. What's up with this? They're like, yeah, we don't enforce that. And I'm like, yet? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is it accruing? Like, is this a ploy? You know, like,
how many years do you owe?
Yeah, like I mean, all of a sudden you're 10 years behind and you can't pay it. Like, is that what happens? So, but yeah, that it's the same way. Like I think about that class in the same way. Airbnb, um, on a city by city basis is pretty interesting to see how, because it's like small town politics at work. It's who's got their hand in the cookie jar, who wants their hand in the cookie jar. You know what I mean? Who's really swinging the big money. You know, I think something happened down in San Antonio where they attempted, and I don't remember. I remember seeing a news story about, you know, them getting ready to do something in San Antonio about the Airbnb crisis, and I was like, the Airbnb crisis or the hotel lobby, um, getting people the campaigns funded pretty well. Like, what, you know, which is it? Because I don't think there's an Airbnb crisis anywhere, like nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, I think if there's a market for it, then it'll sort itself out. A free market will always sort itself out. You know, in Trinidad, Colorado, it's the closest town in Colorado to Texas, and Colorado's like legal weed, you know, recreational weed. And that city, and it's I don't want to say it's a hub for where everybody gets their weed, but it's where we go elk hunting at. Like, so you get to Colorado, it's kind of like they used to have these dry counties. So like East Texas was the Bible Belt. So you'd have like 10 counties that wouldn't sell beer. And then when you got to that like 10th county out, that very first county that would sell beer, they had all the county line stores. There would be 20 stores just lined up. It's out in the middle of nowhere, but it's like the beer haven. And everybody would just, you know, they're thinking they're preventing people from getting beer, but all they were doing was causing them to drive 9 counties drunk as fuck for their next beer run. You know what I mean? And they would get there, and it's like its own little boom town. Well, in Trinidad, they tried to regulate how many dispensaries they would allow in the city of Trinidad for, you know, how much they would allow them to put in there. And eventually, you know, they were like, man, I think we're missing out on a lot of money. So they opened it up. There's 38 dispensaries in a town of 300 people. And it's like, well, yeah. And then you get in the rest of Colorado, because me and Emery just went up there and built a snowman, you know. And I was thinking, because you're in Trinidad, you're thinking, well, every town must be like this. It just dispensary. But it's not. It's not that way. You know, a lot of the smaller towns don't even have one. You know, really, it's back to supply and demand. Why would you, if recreational weed is legal, and I got a green room, why am I going to go to the dispensary and overpay? You know what I mean? Like, I can grow my own shit right here. Yep. So they, you know, that's kind of the economics inside of Colorado, but at the border, it's like, it reminds me of getting to those dry counties, you know, getting out of those dry counties, all the beer stores. It was just nuts. And then you go into one and they want to take your driver's license and swipe it. And I'm like, fuck that. I'm out. I'm not walking in here. I'm not going on no fucking list. You're outside your mind. I just want to look around. I want to see what the hell y'all had. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even smoke weed. I just wanted to see if there was some cool lotion I could rub on my balls or something. You know?
Yeah, they don't even let you in the front door. You can't even smell it.
Yeah, I'm like, hell, I'm not going on a government list. But you know it. Like, when you're coming back to Texas, all the billboards are got weed, like the got milk, or like got weed, weedlawyer.com. Like, well, a lot of people getting busted. So
yeah, if you're hauling your shit in and you get pinched, you give us a call.
Dude, my dad, when I got back, I was like, I just got back from Colorado, and he's an old pothead. He's like, why didn't you bring me a cookie? And I'm like, what? I'm driving back from, like, I mean, yeah, go to jail for a felony, bringing my dad back a cookie. Just
fucking edible.
Go down to the local plug here. We got weed. I mean, it's you know where the weed is in town. Like, we'll just bake you a fucking cookie. Like it's not.
Yeah, the shit's not hard to find or grow, from what I understand.
Do what?
I said it's not hard. It's not hard to find or grow, from what I understand. It's pretty easy.
If you just want to, I mean, I don't know, like a corporate cookie ain't going to change your life, Dad. If you just want some fucking chocolate chips with your weed, we'll just come over and make you some. Like, It's not that big a deal.
How about a box of Chips Ahoy and a joint?
Yeah, like there you go. You're good to go. Good to go for a week. So, what else you got going on? What? How's the business in this time of year for y'all? Like, like I know that Christmas break y'all must be booked up, but I mean, what's it like during the holiday seasons? Is it pretty busy on the weekends? Is it?
We stay pretty occupied all year round. It used to be a little more seasonal. I mean, because we didn't buy our first one till 2016, and we just kind of fell into that son of a bitch. One of them came up for sale. It was listed, and some gal in Tucson owned it, and she was running it really, really badly, and all the neighbors hated it. And we were going to buy it and just make it a flip. Going to buy it, and it was going to be a flip. We're going to make $500,000 on this flip. Hey, yeah, great. We're making $500,000. And so we've only been really fully operational since 2017 on these things. And in the couple of years we've done it, we've seen our occupancy grow. But I mean, we haven't been in it long enough to be able to really give you a trend. I think it's a lot more in how we run our stuff, because we live here in town. We're really, really hands-on. Mike is fucking excellent at getting them occupied. I mean, Mike's in there every day, and he's adjusting rates and, always shooting for full occupancy. If anything comes up at a property, I can go out and usually take care of it, or I can get whatever service provider we need there. So, between the two of us, it's a really good relationship between Mike and I, because between the two of us, and I mean, if it was just Mike and I, we could run the whole fucking thing ourselves. We just have outside services doing the housekeeping and everything. I mean, we've moved our laundry facility in down here, and we've got a manager that runs the thing for us, and we're going to try to get all of the housekeeping in-house. We're doing some in, some out. But so we haven't been doing it long enough to see trends, but for us, our experience is we are more and more occupied every year.
So that's something. Does Airbnb pay y'all as soon as they bang my card? Because here's the Vegas Mastermind. We paid $17,000 for that mansion for those however many nights it is. It's a fucking huge house. But we were like, oh, they're not going to charge the card until it gets closer. No, they banged that bitch. It was like, boom. Amex, hey bro, 17 grand gone. I was like, oh, well, so much for that idea. Like I thought we'd sell some tickets and pay for that before we had to pay for it. But now it looks like we're going the other direction. We'll figure it out later. You know what I mean? So do y'all get that money right then, or does Airbnb like try to hang on to it?
So Airbnb will drop it into will initialize a drop into our account the day they check in, which personally I prefer it that way because it makes our accounting easier. Now VRBO HomeAway, those son of a bitches, their fucking accounting is such a goddamn nightmare. And I mean, I used to get on the phone with them and just fucking scream at them all the time. And finally I turned all that shit over to our accountant, and she figures it out now. But I mean, sometimes they'd pay us when the guest executed the stay. Sometimes they'd pay us a little bit ahead of time, and then sometimes they'd give us the deposit, and they'd have to pull the deposit back out of the account. And I'd be like, why in the fuck can't you guys just do this like Airbnb does? You hold the deposit unless I need it. If I need it, then you give it to me. And I don't even want to see the fucking money until they execute the stay, because if you give me 10 grand, and then they decide 2 months before the stay they're gonna pull out, then you pull the 10 grand. I'm not worried about losing the 10 grand. I'm worried about all the extra steps in the accounting. It makes the accounting a fucking nightmare. Oh, I mean, fucking take 10 grand. I don't give a shit. There's more money there. It's just the accounting turns into an absolute complete nightmare.
Well, so Airbnb's trust account must be savage.
Oh fuck. Yeah.
Because they banged our card. It's gone. We done paid that money.
Can you imagine what they're making in interest on that fucking money? Because Airbnb does 2 million guests a night. 2 million guests a fucking night.
And we booked that thing way out. Like I was just looking on Airbnb. We got our Corpus Mastermind going on this weekend, our little marketing mastermind, and Jacob's talking about coming down. I was like, well, shit, Emery's getting out of school for Christmas on Friday, so I was early. So I was like, maybe he can, grab Emery on his way down. We'll make it a trip. And anyways, I was like looking at Airbnb so we'd have enough room to stay, and I mean, fuck, $40, $50 a night in Corpus on the beach. It's like
that's a deal. Fuck yeah.
No, I mean it's a great deal. I was like, hell, probably about to book one, but I didn't realize that y'all didn't get that money because the Vegas Airbnb, that money's sitting somewhere. That guy's, which I don't know on a mansion like that. I just like I visualize it, like I see it and I understand it. You know what I mean? Like I do, but I don't know what they would have paid for that place. It's got a boxing ring in the back, like a full boxing ring, a pool, like several showers. It's just an absolutely insane property.
How much was the deposit on that property? Do you know?
No, I don't think there was a deposit. I think we had to pay the whole thing.
Well, no, there should be a rent payment, and there should be a deposit payment, a security deposit. So in case a bunch of strippers get in there and they get buck fucking wild and they get all oiled up and they slide across the tile floor, break a window out of the fucking sliding door, that shit gets paid for.
Well, let's go look.
They hit that thing with them studs in their front right there, and the glass goes down. You know what I mean?
Well, I was like, I mean. There was one of the houses that had a stripper pole, and I don't think we got that house. But I was looking at it, and I was like, if I'm running an Airbnb, that's the last fucking thing I'm putting in. Last thing.
You saw they put up a stripper pole in our house, didn't you?
Yeah. They brought their own, but I mean, if you got one in there, it seems like a liability. You know what I mean?
Oh, fuck yes, it is. Yeah.
When Tina thinks she still can, and she can't, and breaks her neck, like it's like well, who's liable? The insurance.
Mike and I are going through that on a golf cart on that condo because it's a golf course, and I'm like, I gotta talk to the insurance company first. We may not be putting a golf cart at that goddamn deal. And then when you called me up, he was sending me a bunch of shit on Messenger on these like lifted up golf carts. I'm like, Mike, we can't get a lifted up golf cart. Somebody's gonna be doing donuts. They're gonna tear up the fucking golf course in like a week, and then I'm gonna have to go fucking get an ass chewing for that. I'm not in the mood for it. And then he starts sending me like normal golf carts that are like a third of the price. Like that's more like it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, a stripper pole? Nah, fuck that shit.
Damn.
What are you looking at? Are you looking at stripper poles?
Let me put this up here so we can show it.
This ought to be good.
So this is the house. And,
wow.
It's way cheaper now than when we booked. It was $3,400 a night. So anyways, but
hold on a second. So what that $19.99, that what they do is they show their cheapest night. Then when you go and you book, then it populates the value for the night you book. So that $19.99 could be like a Tuesday night in the slowest season.
So where would I see the deposit? I guess I'd have to go try to book it.
I don't know. See, Mike handles all this shit. I don't even.
That's what I mean. I've never. That's the same way. I didn't book this thing. I picked it out, but I didn't book it.
Yeah.
I mean,
nice pergola.
Oh, dude, this place it's insane.
Wow.
I mean, there's the orgy bed, but I gotta quit calling it that. Everybody says I can't call it the orgy bed.
Yeah, that looks like my house back in St. Louis.
So they got the little putting green here, which is cool. Basketball court in the back.
Wow.
The fire pit on the second floor. Got a few kitchens, a few gambling rooms. I don't know. I mean, I guess we can throw dice. That's a shower. Hopefully that washes away our sin. It's got this. which so we can do a nice presentation, show everybody what's up on 47 screens. And anyways, but the part that was like crazy to me, and I mean, I'm looking forward to this. There it is again, though. This was the weird part. A fucking urinal? Just cuz? Like,
hey, I guess they know that's gonna be a party house. So they're gonna set the thing up so guys can get in and get out.
I mean, it's pretty cool, but this was the part I was looking and I was like, is that a boxing? Like right here. I was like, that is a boxing ring. And of course they got all the bags and
oh yeah, look at that.
I mean, there it is.
Who the hell is out there in that heat?
Dude.
What's it say? Bare knuckle?
Bare knuckle fight league.
Huh.
So, I mean, you talk about liabilities. I'm sure they don't provide the gloves.
Yeah, I'd take that shit out if that was my house. I wouldn't be having that crap. But then I'm a coming from an insurance family, I don't fuck around with that shit too much. I don't want it. I don't want trouble around me.
Yeah, I mean, the house is legit. And I can't.
Oh, the house!
I just can't wait to. I'm really looking forward. In a week from the Monday, I'll be interviewing Grant Cardone.
Oh, so, no shit.
Yeah, I've actually got to. I've been preparing for it, but I gotta like sit down. I've got to get with Propelio, get their studio lined out, get everything ready to go because I don't want any technical difficulties. But I'm looking forward to that. I mean. Grant's somebody I got a huge amount of respect for from, helping me with my mindset. Like I think back to when I worked in the oil field. If I'd have known who Grant Cardone was, I would have never been in real estate, mainly because I would have never got laid off from my job because I wouldn't like I cut myself short in the oil field real short. I only had a goal to make it to where I made it to, which is why I made it to where I made it to and wouldn't go up any further. If I'd have had a bigger goal, I mean, I would have been on that mission and would have made it and wouldn't be sitting here today. But I am extremely thankful that I found real estate because, Grant's right. Like it'll take care of Emory, even if I die tomorrow. You know what I mean? The rent will take care of her, make sure that she at least has some capital to go get her degree so she can save dolphins and be like the Tom Girl of the Year and sail around in a little boat and talk about what a capitalist pig her dad is.
Talk mad shit.
Yeah, like I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I think about it it's just funny. Like right now, Emery's favorite food is chicken fried steak. And I want to put that on the internet forever because I know at some point she's just going to go vegan just to piss me off. Not because, and it won't piss me off. That'll be the thing. She'll just think that's, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to get up my dad right now and only eat broccoli. I'm like, I don't care what you eat, just eat.
Well, I can tell you right now, real estate is a whole lot easier than working with your hands. I mean, I'd rather I made a bunch of money repossessing cars, and I'd rather be doing this than repossessing fucking cars any goddamn day of the week. I mean, work with your hands.
Like I believe that. Like I believe that with my soul. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, man, there's things that I do now that I'm like, if I was still working with my body, I mean, I see grown men do it every day, so I know what's possible. But then I look at my dad, my uncle, who are just like broke down old men. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They sacrifice their body to provide for their families, and I probably won't be that. You know what I mean? I don't know that, but I probably won't. And that's the fortunate part of being in real estate is, when you make more money with your mind than you'll ever make with your hands, is what an old man used to tell me all the time. He's like, you'll make more money with this. He used to point at a pen. He used to say, you'll make more money with this than you will with these. And I thought, yeah, man, I'll be all right. But, when you're invincible, you're invincible. I watch DJ every day. DJ 19. And he's invincible right now, which is good. You need that invincibility at the beginning. But now I'm like, man, I couldn't even imagine pulling some of the days I used to pull, doing some of the things I used to do. I just feel like I've gotten soft. I know I still could, but it's like, man, would I want to?
Well, I mean, you have to go through it with the appreciation. Actually, let me find something here. You have to go through. I mean, you have to go through that bullshit. I mean, I can remember working 30 hours fucking straight in repossession business. We'd get in our busy season, and we'd just be getting work left and right, and you had to do it because the slow season was coming behind it, and you have to go through that hardship to appreciate where you and I are today. I mean, you and I were talking about, me doing this deal for Porsche before we came on. Let me find this picture. So I was in Atlanta. Hold a second here. Get this fucking picture to come up. Why will this bitch not open up? Oh, there we go. I was in Atlanta, and how do I share this?
Hit that share screen button at the bottom.
Yeah.
Pick your screen if you got multiple screens.
Yeah.
And then it'll pop up at the very bottom. See where it says Corey screen, and then you.
Here we'll go.
When it shows up, I'll put it on the screen. If you just hit share screen and then start sharing it.
Oh, right there. Okay. And then allow. Oh, fuck. Let me bring this down here on my main screen. No, fuck, that's not it either. I've got two monitors, and I've got a fucking ton of shit up in this one monitor. Actually, let me do it like this. Let me make it full screen. There we go. And then, oh, here we go. Share. Right there. Okay. Allow. There we go. So, it's like you and I were talking before we got on this. So this is a consulting gig I have, and I go on these junkets with this company that they do a lot of warranty towing and insurance towing, and I fell into this deal when I was still in the repossession business, and so this is last month. We're in Atlanta. I'm working on that new Porsche Taycan, that EV, and our photographer's taking a bunch of pictures and shit, and I see that, I'm going through all the pictures he sends me. I get to this one, and I sit there. I'm like, I am so fucking glad I am not fucking doing that full time anymore. There is no fucking way in hell. I mean, I'm down to, I've got one bad fucking eye. I've got bad vision as it is. I've got like 30% out of one eye. I fucked up both my ankles, my hands. I got a bad fucking knee, and I got out of this shit when I was 40. I moved out here when I was 44 years old. I did this shit till I was ran fucking tow trucks till I was 44 fucking years old. So how old are you?
I'm 35.
Yeah, I mean, you ought to be thanking your lucky fucking stars that shit happened to you when it happened to you.
At 26, even sooner than that. At 23, I was out of the day-to-day manual labor. I still had to do it every now and then, but I was out of the day-to-day. At 26, I was on real cruise control. Didn't have to do much unless I wanted to. But the thing was, I worked on a drilling rig, so you got to go up 3 flights of stairs just to get to the rig floor, and I did that probably 20 times a day. Being the mic, I don't consider myself a micromanager now, but I was a micromanager then, so I'd want to stare at stuff. You know what I mean? I'd want to be there to tell them, hey, put that wrench on with your left hand, and like that, I turn the wrench over, that kind of shit. And anyways, I was out of it, but when things go down like it did when I got laid off, my options, if I just wanted to stay working, I could have went back to the physical manual labor part of it that fast. And was considering it, like, would have done it to keep from starving for sure.
Yeah.
But like you said, thank my lucky stars, we got a good skill set now. And that's the part that, I take for granted every day. Born with some ability to communicate and that has been a difference maker from me to a lot of people. A lot of people can't make it in this business because they never developed that ability to communicate. And people call it sales, they can call it whatever. When you're going to buy somebody's house, you're obviously not in sales. It's a sales job if you're selling yourself, but I mean, it's just your ability to communicate. Like, how well can you communicate with somebody else and make them understand what why you're in the position you're in, and why your offer is what it is, and why it's going to be a win-win for everybody. And
Well, you have the ideal personality for the job. You really do. I mean, it's your personality couldn't be any better suited, because I mean, it's like, your craft, and you're very, very direct with shit. And there's more people that appreciate somebody being direct with them than beating around the bush. Because when somebody's beating around the bush, like, okay, how's this guy trying to fuck me? Okay, Corey might be coming with a low number, but at least he's telling me why he's doing it, and he's telling me how he's getting there, instead of Chris coming in there. It's like, yeah, well, we're going to do this, and all sort of bullshit and smoke and mirrors. It's like, it's how I handle people. I'm going to be direct with you. If you don't like it, you don't like me. I don't fucking care, but I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, and I think the same thing about you. I think you got the perfect personality for it. But I would show up to these appointments, and there'd be guys pulling up in Bentleys wearing suits. Somebody's facing foreclosure. I'm like,
yeah,
you could offer them twice what their house worth. They despise you already. You look like what's taking their house from them.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I that was one of the things early on whenever I started talking with people. I'm like, why do you dress like that on an appointment? What are you talking about? You got to look good. You got to look like you got money. I'm like, you think that's what it is? You think looking like you had money is gonna help them, believe that you're gonna do it? We're closing a deal right now. Lady's price was $54,000 on the house. We're wholesaling it to somebody for $76,000, I believe. And anyways, the lady's like 75 years old, and she's obviously terrified about having to move in with her granddaughter, all of this stuff. And the person that wants to buy the house went over there and told this lady, hey, look, you're going to have to be out in like 3 days after we close on this. And, I told our person, I was like, we're not in the business of running little old ladies out of their house. That's not the business we're in. If we got to close on this thing, so this lady will have more time to move out, then we'll close on it. You know what I mean? And we'll buy it, and she can buy it for us, and she can pay our hard money lender points and interest and all that stuff. If she's that adamant about getting possession or having possession the day that she closes on it, then you know what I mean? Then we're going to have to step in here, because we don't run little old ladies out of their house. That's not what we do. That's not helping this lady's situation. And it was kind of a moment of clarity for me, where I was like, do people really think, like, are they in that big of a hurry that a lady that's lived in a house, she inherited this house from her parents. She's 75. You know what I mean? That they've got to be in that big a hurry to get, get something that's not going anywhere. It's been there for 100 years. It's still going to be there a long time after we're gone. You know what I mean? Like, let her move out in peace. But a lot of people don't think that way. And I think when you're in somebody's living room like that, and you're really understanding of that situation, they can sense it. You know what I mean? Versus, all I can see is dollar signs in here. And that's the part that when I see people on the internet talking about things, I'm like, man, yeah, no, like, y'all, it's I don't believe you. I really don't believe you. You know what I mean?
Well, they want to get that money made right now. It's like I got to get this money made right now, because I may not make it. Like, don't make it. Go make money somewhere else. I mean, fuck, there's no shortage of money to be made. There's no shortage of opportunities. Fucking, they're everywhere. You just got to have your eyes open and see them.
Now, I will say this. We went and bought a bunch of mobile homes down in Stephenville, which is a little college town. About 6 of them, some bitches. And this lady was like 75 years old. And she straight up called us. She told me and my husband owned a mobile home dealership. And We bought all these houses and put them out there. And her husband died in like 1998 or something. He'd been gone a while, you know. But she had this rental portfolio and this land and all this. She had about 30 houses. She cut a lot of them out on notes, and she had, you know, these left, and she was just sick and tired of them. And anyways, I asked her, I said, well, what do you want from them? And she's like, you know, for these two, I'll do 50,000. So 50,000 for two houses. So that's good. I'll do that. You know what I mean? Would you owner finance it for me? You know, money can be kind of tight. Sometimes it's hard to get loans on mobile homes. You know that. So I had negotiated 180 equal payments at 50 grand. This lady's a savage. I mean, she's a savage. So Spoon goes out, and of course he's excited. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, hell yeah, we're going to buy two houses for 50 grand. And she's seen that excitement, and she, yep, you can buy them 90,000.
Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ. Fuck.
And they were worth it. You know what I mean? But I just laughed at it because you know, we're refinancing them now. They're going to be rentals. Wrong time of year to buy a mobile home and sell it. Mobile homes don't sell in October. They sell in the spring and summer. So we put tenants in them and refinancing them, and we're burring into them. They're not going to have any money in it. And I joke that it's Jason's rental portfolio because he got beat up by a little old lady. But that lady was a savage. You know what I mean? Like, she recognized as soon as he was excited about it. And me and him didn't really talk about price. You know what I mean? Like, we did, but we didn't. And so, like, we bought them we bought them at about 70% of what they're worth, which we're where we need to be. But, you know, her original price was dirt cheap, and just to get away from, because she was just tired of fucking with it. And but as soon as she seen that excitement in Jason's eyes, she knew it, and her old home sales experience came back, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm cashing out of these. But anyways, pretty funny to talk about stuff that goes on in the living room on sales appointments.
Yeah.
So what else you got going on? What you doing tomorrow?
Oh, I'll probably be messing with this condo some more. I came down here. Robert's up in Reno picking up a car, and I came in here because we flipped over a bunch of houses today. So I get in here running laundry. So when he comes back, he's not completely deluged. And I was going to edit that video I shot today of that thing and work on some accounting crap. And
so
I'm always
bookkeeping.
Oh, fuck no. If I had to do that, I'd fucking climb on the roof of the building and jump off of my head. No, the only real shit we do in house is we have this thing called Receipt Bank, and it interfaces with QBO. And, you know, I just take the phone and I just take pictures of all of our receipts. We've got one login for each company. And it's really, really cool because it's intuitive enough. It can read the receipt, and it can tell you, it can populate the purchase date, the vendor, and the amount. So then what I do is I go through, I photograph all of our receipts, I give it a day, let it process, get it in the system. Then I go through and I classify everything, and then it goes off to the accountant. Because we have to classify it. I have to tell the accountant what it is. So I'm either going to classify it on the statement, or I'm going to classify it in Receipt Bank. So tomorrow I'll be shooting pictures of receipts, and, you know.
We have that too. I don't know what it is. Do you email, like, they got me where all I got to do is take a picture and hit R in my email, and it automatically populates the email address. They've got it so idiot proof. It's just like bam, and then it goes in an email, and I'm done.
Is here, I'll show you. It's this, see a little orange app right there? Right there?
Yes, I do.
That's it right there. Then you go into it.
Tell Jacob about it. Well, Chris, let's jump on. Let's jump on in the evening time once a week.
We can do that.
And we'll get Spoon whenever he's not busy or snowed under. We'll get him on because Spoon loves the shit out of you.
You know, actually, you know what's really funny is, man, fuck, I love that. You know, I love Spoon. I posted something like 2 months ago. I just bought a new ionizer for for getting the odors, you know, because those two houses in below, everybody's smoking grass in the fucking houses. So I got this ionizer to kill the odor. Spoon calls me. He's like, oh man, he goes, I got these fucking deals. You need to try them. And fuck, him and I were on the phone for like 90 minutes talking about all the shit he's gone through. I mean, you talk about somebody that'll put his fucking heart and soul in something. That boy will do it.
Oh,
He
yeah.
don't fuck around. I mean, he gets his mindset. He gets his mindset into something. His ass is gonna figure it out. He does not screw around.
Well, yeah, Spoon's good hand. You know, he laughed at me for a long time when I told. He's like, "What do you do whenever at the beginning?" I'm like, "I just go do more bandit signs." And he's like, "Bandit signs?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I've never had any luck with bandit signs." I'm like, "Well, that's because you had never put out bandit signs, And now this time of year, at least for us, will make you think you're a complete failure in life because nothing goes right.
Yeah.
Nobody's paying attention. Nobody's calling. No matter what leads you generate, you can't seem to get them across the finish line. All your retail sales fall through. We got somebody looking at trying to buy one of our houses. They say it needs a whole septic system. We're like, I mean, it's like you can't. I mean, it's just fucking the time between November and December until after the first of the year. Everything just kind of it'll get you, like your mind will get wrong on you. You'll be like, man, I'm really bad at this. But then springtime comes around, and all of a sudden you're the world's greatest real estate investor again.
Yep.
And that's one thing I keep trying to explain to Spoon. I'm like, we're slamming the shit out of bandit signs, but it don't matter. People are going to drive by them, and some people will call, some people won't. And once they get past their last Christmas in their house, they'll pick up the phone and call, and we'll buy it.
I think there is an aversion of people wanting to move around the holidays. I mean, it's fuck. I mean, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, who wants to do shit? I mean, you got a ton of family shit going on. I mean, who wants to pack up your house and move out of that thing too?
Nobody. I mean, hell. And then the other thing is, like, from the rental side of the business, we get to the rental side. Whitley sends me a picture of our eviction board. We normally have about 10 evictions that we start at the beginning of a month, but they don't all make it through. And then in the like May, June, July months, it's just fucking 30 a month. We had 42 at the beginning of this month.
Holy fuck, are you kidding me?
No, it was like, I shit myself. I literally was like, and then I looked at it and I was like, well, it's the 6th. So we got to chase down 42. We won't evict 42, but we're still at 17 evictions on our board right now. And
well, you know why that pattern exists, don't you? I can tell you this from spending 20 years in the repossession business. The reason that pattern exists is because at the end of the year, people are already counting on their tax return. So they're spending all of their money on the holidays and Christmas. And they're going to skate all the way through to when they get their tax forms, and they're going to go to H&R Block, and they're going to file that bitch right now. They're going to be sitting on a fat wad of cash, or they think they're going to be. Every fucking year in the repossession business, every year I spend in it, that's how it was. It's how folks think.
It really is. And this was the first year that we'd been at this level. I guess we were kind of at this level last year, but at this level, and it's like, a lot of those units we haven't gone through. Those are tenants that we bought with it. So it's a scary prospect for us because now we're looking at, we're going to make readies. Like, full blown, that's $3,000 a door that leaves right now. And so it's like, you're looking at $100,000 on the board vanishing. You're just,
your
butthole puckers a little bit because property taxes are due in January, and you don't really want to do make readies on these units right now. It's almost like, how do I give them this month off without their neighbor finding out? Like, you know what I mean? Like it's a problem that whenever it presents itself, you don't really want to work with tenants ever. You want to keep a hard line, but right now at this time of year, it's like, hey, we'll let you can get caught up. We're going to work with you this month because you don't want that unit to fall vacant. You have to go in and paint, carpet, and everything because you've never seen the inside of that unit. Most likely, you don't know how bad it is. And that's something. Growing pains are growing pains, but seeing that, I was like, man, that's our worst month. That's the worst month ever. But it makes sense. Christmas. I mean, it makes sense. It's like people are stupid. I'm not going to pay my rent so I can buy Junior a fucking PlayStation.
Exactly. That shit right there is why I don't want to do long-term rentals. I mean, our exposure to any one tenant is very short. I mean, the longest stay we ever had was this summer. We had these two guys from down there in Texas, and they ended up staying in one of our houses for 31 days or 32 days or some shit. Nice as hell. They had a couple little minor issues. I went over there. I take care of them really, really quick, and they thought that was cool as hell. But I mean, our exposure to any one shithead tenant is very, very short. And that's one of the reasons why I like what we do, because we go through a lot of people, but we don't really have. If you look at how many stays we've had, we had those two issues at that one unit down there in Vallejo. We don't have a whole lot of problems. I mean, we don't. We had a couple of them back to back in 1 month, but we don't have a lot of problems. I mean, I think the first year in business, our biggest problem was, Napa is it's a destination for bachelorette parties. Well, these gals are out looking for Mr. Right now, and they find him downtown, and they got him in that Elm Street house, and the fucking towel bars come off the wall and shit. And that was like our biggest problem for a long time. It's like,
I might need to come to Napa. I need to come to y'all's next meetup, y'all's next
That's
event.
right, baby.
But no, that's funny. That's an interesting perspective, And I don't anticipate that it'll be like this for us forever. You know what I mean? I think we'll be fine. I think the quality of tenants we've got, all of our stabilized units, stabilized apartments and stuff like that. The shock of a new owner always causes problems. Of course, when you're buying apartments that are renting for $350 and then your new tenants are renting for $650, that's a real rough dynamic. You know what I mean? Because they see the $650 tenant come in, they're at $350, and it's like you're doing them in phases. You want the natural attrition. So because if you come in and raise everybody's rent at once, it's going to go to cash flow zero. Because somebody's paying $350 just probably isn't going to be able to swing a $500 or $600 a month rent very long. So we let kind of the natural attrition happen until we go through all the vacant units and get them made ready, and then we start raising the problem tenants rent first. It's been working well for us. We've let 16 units go pretty much completely vacant. Just as they move out, we're just letting them sit vacant because we're going to do a whole remodel on the whole place. I went out there the other day because we're about to kick off in January and put notices on everybody's door that lives there that their rent is going from $350 or whatever it is to damn near $600. But those people take care of themselves. Do what?
Did you get a bunch of calls on that already?
No, not really, because there's only like 4 tenants left. We've evicted everybody else. I mean, the inside of the units are fine. It's the outside just needs paint, windows, new ACs, and it's going to look like a completely different complex. The cool thing about that complex is, I mean, we're going to be able to get this really sweet institutional loan on it when we're done with it, and it's going to these things are going to be cash cows for us, like that particular town. But
how many units is that?
Do what?
How many units is that?
We've got 16 there, and we've got 25 within a mile, so we've got 41 units.
Wow.
When y'all came down for Tyler, I left straight from Tyler and went and looked at them. We bought 57 units total, 41 in one town and 16 in another.
Oh, holy shit!
For $800,000.
Same guy.
Same guy.
Holy mother!
So we're spinning the 16 units in a different town off to a buddy of ours. We're taking the money the proceeds from that sale. We're doing the make ready on this 16 units that we've let go vacant. We're doing the complete remodel. Then we're going to get it up and going. The 25 is pretty much stabilized. It's just got a lot of low market rent, and we're gonna let that ride. Mainly because it's not necessary. We don't need the extra income on that one. What we need is a paved parking lot. So it's like we're gonna let the institutional lender tell us what we got to fix on those 25 units. We're not going to go out there and play doctor on them. We will have to put a roof on one building pretty quick. But until then, other than that, we're not going to do a lot to it. We've already done everything we're going to do to it.
Hey, here's something really interesting. Mike just texted me an article, and this is one of the beautiful things. Not to cut you off, but I figured I'd bring this up. He just sent me this. This is one of the beautiful things about operating where we operate. So naturally, there's always going to be illegal units. I mean, there's always going to be, if you have a regulated city, people are always going to operate illegal units. Mike just sent me a deal that Napa County is cracking down on illegal short-term vacation rentals. They're going to hire some firm to do this and determine where these folks are that are in violation. Because every one of these units that pops up can and they will affect our occupancy and what we make. So the more scarcity there is, the more money we make because we're regulated and we're paying hotel taxes and everything. These other people aren't even paying the hotel taxes. So this is actually a really good thing for us. This is great.
Well, see, that's like why we like small towns. I'm buying something for $800,000 that you can't build for $2 million.
Yeah.
Money's coming to town. I've got you. I've got you beat. You know what I mean? You're not going to be able to. Well, actually, it would take probably over $3 million to build, because we're probably 48,000 square foot in just that town. And then the next town, we got another 16 units that are 6,000 or 7,000 square foot, 15,000 square foot in that town. So can't build it $100 a foot. You know what I mean? And that don't include the land. So who's going to come build in that town and compete with me on rent? Nobody. So
when you're working a project like that and you go to the city and you're wanting to improve it, I mean, are they like, here, do it, get it done? Or are they like, here, it doesn't matter what you do here, they're gonna be in your ass about it and they're gonna drag it out? I mean, in those small towns you're operating in, are they like, hey, whatever help you need, we'll help you out?
In Texas, at least, like our small town didn't even have code enforcement until probably 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh shit!
Right now in our small town,
in Groesbeck.
Yes, in Groesbeck. So in Groesbeck, if I'm the property manager, Corey Thompson, the property manager, we don't have to pull a permit to do electrical, plumbing, or AC work. We have to pull a general permit to let them know what we're doing, and it has to pass, whatever inspection they put out there. But as a property management company, we do not have to pull a permit. In this particular town that I'm talking about, the city, we went down to pull a permit to, like, we're doing floors and paint and all this, like a general construction permit. And they're like, you only have to pull a permit for plumbing and electrical. Are you doing plumbing or electrical or changing ceiling fans? You don't need a permit. Go away. So no.
Oh shit.
It's a different animal. I mean, it's just, they don't have the resources. They don't want to spend the money on that resource either. And if they are spending money on that resource, it's like a police officer who's also the dog catcher and code enforcement. So his bandwidth is, you know what I mean? Whatever it is that day.
He's a handyman with a badge.
Pretty much. I mean, and one of the small towns that we did have trouble with, the code enforcement is a police officer. And once he let us know who was in charge, we haven't had a problem out of him since. We're moving in mobile homes, and they didn't really want the mobile home park there, but once they seen that we were going to run it a lot better and it was going to be clean, they quit being rude to us and mean to us like they were. But yeah, we don't have those issues now. In one small town, we have had goalposts moved all over the place, but that's because the personnel changed out. And their vision for the town, it's like a big fish, small pond. Eventually, the big fish eat all the rest of the fish in the pond. You know what I mean? That's what happens in a big fish, small pond situation. And this town can't see that. You know what I mean? They're like, I'm like, dude, Josh, cutting off your nose to spite your face. There's 100, maybe even 150 vacant houses in this town. And we own the only apartment complex in town. The demand is always going to be there because it's a county seat. But every year, they're going to have less houses. The bank took back the largest landlord in town, over 80 houses, took them back. The bank's the largest landlord in town now. And and they can't seem to get out of their own way. Well, that's not going to affect us. It's the same principle that you're talking about. We're going to have the nicest units in town. If you want central heat and AC and a decent place to live, you're going to rent from us. The other people in town can't afford to operate because the rent demand isn't there, and the deferred maintenance on their units is through the roof. You know what I mean? Like they can't go in and get it up to code. If they wanted to, it would just eat them up.
So what have they been doing? Have they been living off the R&M budget, just not doing anything, and just saying the R&M is now income?
No, what happens in these small towns are not business people, right? I own the property free and clear, which is fine while I'm working, and I make an income. When I retire, my kids still bleed me dry, and I don't realize it. You know what I mean? So you just kind of going down, and like you said, I mean, you are living off the R&M budget, but you don't realize you're living off the R&M budget until, it's like if my kid needs $5,000, I want to give my kid $5,000, and now I need to put an air conditioner in, and I can't put an air conditioner in because I gave my kid the money, and then it just kind of is a snowball effect, and they're not smart enough to, get rid of that asset, get it into something, owner finance it out on a note or something, get away from it as the deferred maintenance starts catching up to them, and let somebody else come in there that wants to put that money into it so they can live in it. So they end up stuck, and then that's when they call us. Now I look at it, I learn from all those guys and kind of look at it like, oh man, you don't want to end up in these situations. Which means that as you pay down debt and as you raise rents, you're going to have to go back to the well and refinance to do big deferred maintenance items. If you don't get it on the front side, if you don't get air conditioned roofs and all that on the front side of these apartment complexes, you're really, really shooting yourself in the foot, because you're buying it with, 20, 30-year-old units. As far as air conditioner goes, the roofs are at the end of their lifespan. You've got that front side rehab to go in and do that. Get rid of those big deferred maintenance items. If you don't do it on the rehab, you're going to have to go for a refi and do it later. I mean, you're going to have to anticipate it, because I look at it right now. Our 25 units is going to need all new air conditioners. I know that, but I'm going to let the company or the institutional loan go out there and do their engineering report and tell us that, because they have a job to find something that needs to be replaced, right? They have to find it. So if you put new air conditioners on, they're gonna then go to roofs or paving, or you know what I mean? Like they're gonna find something. You might as well make it easy for them to find.
Yep. What's it cost you putting AC in one of those places?
$2,500.
$2,500. What, like a 2-ton central unit or what?
Yeah, 2.5 ton.
Is it all electric or you gas electric?
All electric. Easy. We got a really good AC vendor. Really good.
Yeah.
He does that whole area for us. 2-year warranty. Honor their warranty. Like I've always thought a 2-year warranty looked good on paper. You know what I mean? Like, it looks good on paper. You going to come back? You're giving us a hell of a deal on these units. Are you actually going to come back and service that warranty? They've done it every time.
Yeah, we've got a great HVAC guy, and it's just like, fuck. I'm the point I just call him and say, here, this is what we got. Just get your ass out here and tell them what the hell we need to do.
Well, we have another one there in town, and that we tried to use a local guy there in that town, and he goes out and it's like $3,800, $4,000, and just like, man, what's the difference? You know what I mean? And he don't even have his warranty ain't even as good. It's like you're giving me a 1-year warranty.
You're giving the manufacturer warranty.
Yeah, like what? So yeah, we've been really blessed, and that guy owns a general construction company. So when we start these remodels on these apartment complexes, we're going to let him do our 2 big apartment remodels. And I hope, because he said he will go travel with us if we have a big enough job. So I hope as we get into these, 30, 40 unit apartment complexes heavily over the next couple of years, I hope he follows us around.
Oh, that'd be great.
So that, and I really like, where we're headed, but Well, let's jump on sometime next week with Spoon.
Okay. Yeah. Just
let me know.
shoot me a message. Let me know when. Figure
Okay.
out what he's doing. Is he going to go to Vegas, or is he still on the fence? We got to talk to him about that, or what?
You can talk him into it. And he might be right. He's convinced that he has to take his wife and he can't get a babysitter. And I'm just telling him it's not going to be that kind of party. Like, it seems like it could be that kind of party, but in reality, it's not going to be that kind of party. Like, it's going to be a bunch of real estate investors geeking over a nice house, trying to, figure out how much this thing cash flows, and, getting to know a whole bunch of private money people there at GrowthCon. Like, I'm going for straight private capital. That's all I'm doing is introducing myself.
Well, I mean, that's a place to go. I mean, if anybody's got it figured out, it's Grant Cardone. I mean, he hands down has it figured out.
Well, I can't wait to do my interview with him. Can't wait for the questions. I've got some real operational questions that I don't know if he's going to answer them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if he's going to answer them like I'd like, but I do want to know some things about how he tweaks his business, about his growing pains when he started out with his 38 units, and we bought our first apartment complexes at the same age. So I like to think that when I'm 60, I'll be rolling with $1 billion. But I probably don't have the motor that Grant does, or the desire to be that big. I think, I look at where I'm at right now in life, and the things that Emory has going on, and I'm like, man, I really, really, really enjoy my kindergarten lunches. Just going to eat with M's. It's just, I mean, I can't describe how funny it is, and I wouldn't have that opportunity if I was still in the oil field. She does make everything just a little bit better, even though she's getting more and more of her mom's attitude every day. It's like, it's ratcheting up. Like, teenage years are looking bleak.
Oh, well, I'll cut you off. How's that? You're either gonna respect daddy, or you're gonna go live with mom full time.
Well,
I don't have kids. I don't know how to handle them.
I don't think I'm going to leverage like that. I think at that point, I want her to have, the biggest thing I think is for anybody is goals and activities. You know what I mean? I hope she falls in love with something along the way and just goes all in on it, and that we can support it in a healthy manner. You know what I mean? Like not, you know what I mean? We're not going to pay for you to be on the best softball team because, we can afford for you to be. I want you to go to the hardest coaching softball team. I want the coach that's going to hold you accountable and push you hard. That's the softball team you need to be on, not the one that, has the best uniforms and rides the cool bus.
Do you miss having her in the car with you?
Yeah. Look, when we went to Colorado, man, that was a long road trip for us. And, man, she just so inquisitive now, so smart, just ask the best questions. It's like the best questions. And I can't even repeat them right now because I don't know, I don't remember what she asked how to spell Pussy, and it's a cat's name at her honey's house. And, that was hilarious. Like, you need to ask your honey that. And then they're like, why can't you just lie to her and tell her it's like Poosie? And I'm like, ooh, like,
I'm not going to lie to her. That's why I'm not going to lie to the kid.
I was like, I didn't think about it. I wasn't that fast on my toes. I was just like, ask honey. Like, that's honey's cat. She can tell you how to spell it. So anyway, I do miss it at times, but she no matter what we go and do, all she wants to do is swim at the hotel pool. She's just, that's what she wants to do. One of the hotels we stayed at had a sauna, so we got to splash water on the thing and get steamed up in there. That was pretty funny. She loved water on the sauna, so had a good time.
Okay, I'm going to let you go. I got Mike texting me. Having this condo that we got drying out just booked up, so I'm probably going to have to go up there and do a bunch of shit.
Well, have fun, Chris. I'll holler at you.
Cool. That'll work. You have a good one. Enjoy your weekend.
Yes, sir. Later.